This is it. Is Keanu Reeves finally making his debut in the Star Wars world? Well, I came across some updates to the rumor that he will be playing Darth Revan in upcoming Star Wars stories. Let's get into it. Happy New Year, everybody. If you're new to the show, my name's Han. This is Han Talks First, a Star Wars show where we talk about everything Star Wars. With 2020 out of the way, we can look forward to greener pastures and brighter days. Yeah, today we're talking about Keanu Reeves as Darth Revan, some updates I found. I came across this really cool article on InsideTheMagic.net that I wanted to go over with you guys and discuss. Keanu Reeves possibly coming into the Star Wars world as Darth Revan. So what we're going to discuss on the show today is who is Darth Revan, for those of you that don't know, how Keanu Reeves could play him, and why it's possible that it could show up in future Star Wars, because Lucasfilm has tried before. Okay, let's start with the who, okay? Who is Darth Revan? So in Legends, Revan was a Jedi who served in the Mandalorian Wars as the supreme commander of the Jedi and the Galactic Republic forces, but he fell to the dark side of the Force. He was reborn as Darth Revan, and along with his Padawan, who turned Sith apprentice, Darth Malak, they wreaked havoc on their whole Republic. Eventually, Revan was captured by a Jedi strike team and was severely injured in that battle. And taking advantage of this, the Jedi Order wiped Revan's memory and gave him a new identity. Now, due to his actions, philosophies, and involvement in major pivotal events and conflicts of the Old Republic era, Revan is arguably one of the most important characters of the entire Star Wars franchise due to his influence in the Old Republic series, as well as his posthumous influence on the philosophies of the Sith centuries later. Now, I have a quote here that I want to share from Darth Revan's mouth himself, which kind of explains who he is as a person and his philosophies on the Force. So he says, "Those who use the dark side are also bound to serve it. To understand this is to understand the underlying philosophy of the Sith. The dark side offers power for power's sake. You must crave it, covet it. You must seek power above all else, with no reservation or hesitation. The dark force will change you. It will transform you. Some fear this change. The teachings of the Jedi are focused on fighting and controlling this transformation. That is why those who serve the light are limited to what they can accomplish." Now, I really love this quote from Revan because I really think it defines who he is as a person, and it helps us establish why Keanu Reeves is a good fit to play him going forward. Okay, let's talk about Keanu Reeves. Now, inside this article on Inside the Magic, it mainly brought the attention to this post that was made by a very talented artist named Yadvinder Sai Rana. And he created a rendering of what he thinks a Keanu Reeves Revan could look like. And it's nothing short of incredible. Take a look at this picture. It's pretty amazing, right? I love the look of it, the dark side versus the light side, and Keanu is such a good fit for this, not only physically, but also as an actor himself, too. Now, the caption reads, "There have been rumors and speculations about the next series of movies being developed by Disney for the Star Wars franchise, and Keanu Reeves is being eyed to play the role of an ancient Sith emperor, most probably Darth Vader, who first mastered the ability to transform spirit of a person by manipulating the midichlorians through the Force. Now, we can all agree that Keanu Reeves is better suited for the role of Darth Revan, an ancient Sith slash Jedi Lord from the Old Republic era. But there hasn't been any news on the subject of Disney using the Old Republic storyline. That being said, here is a split variant of Keanu Reeves as Revan with both sides of the Force, Jedi and Sith." Now, this post says something like they haven't really said anything about bringing in the Old Republic at all, but Disney has been looking at the Old Republic and the Knights of the Old Republic a lot recently. I mean, when they brought in David Benioff and Z.B. Weiss, the writers of Game of Thrones, to come in and make a new series of movies for Star Wars, it was heavily rumored and speculated they were going to make Knights of the Old Republic. And there was also a bunch of potential leaks that came out showing that there was some concept art from that Old Republic era. Throughout time, Lucasfilm and Disney has been trying to weave in Revan and other characters from Knights of the Old Republic into their current canon storyline. And also, given the recent popularity of The Mandalorian and Din Djarin, the Mando and Bo-Katan, and the history of Mandalore is more likely to resonate with audiences now more than ever. hardcore fans and casual fans alike. Because The Mandalorian is doing so well with fans, it makes us want to know more about the history of those people. I myself am a prime example of that. Really wasn't a big fan of Boba Fett, for example, before The Mandalorian. I thought he was cool. I loved his look, and I loved that signature nod he gave in Return of the Jedi. But I really wasn't as attached to him as I was with other villains or characters from the original trilogy. Until I saw The Mandalorian and I saw him kick some major butt in that episode versus the Stormtroopers. He really shined a light, and now I'm really looking forward to the Book of Boba Fett. But in addition, I'm also looking forward to more history about the Mandalorians. So this can tie in with Darth Revan, being that he was of major significance in the Mandalorian Wars in the past. Okay, so let's jump back to Darth Revan because I did mention earlier Lucasfilm has been trying to incorporate Revan in modern storytelling for a couple years now. So check it out. We can actually find an example of this in the Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary. It does mention that Revan was supposed to be a character in the Rise of Skywalker movie. Doesn't the cover of this book like remind you of those I Spy books we used to read as a kid? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. So in this book, it says the Rise of Skywalker was supposed to introduce legions of Sith troopers who are all part of Emperor Palpatine's final order. And while the Sith troopers get limited screen time in the movie, the official Star Wars Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary confirms that they were separated into legions of 5,000 troopers. And each legion was named after an ancient Sith lord, one of them being the Third Revan Legion. So this officially confirms that Darth Revan is a part of Star Wars canon today, so we can see him implemented going further into the franchise. One thing for me I think he could appear in is possibly the new series, The Acolyte, which is coming to Disney Plus. As we know, this series is supposed to be heavily based on the Sith religious aspects of the Force. And I'm really looking forward to that because we haven't really seen that yet in a TV show or a movie. It's always been kind of the background or side characters and stuff like that. But now we get it kind of in the front and get to see more of their perspective on things. Yeah, I know there's been novels and comics and like games and stuff, but we haven't really seen it on screen in a movie form or TV form, which is really where I think the bread and butter is. Now, if we go back to that article that I mentioned earlier about InsideTheMagic.net, it says here that also noted is the fact that Revan was actually slated to appear in the Star Wars canon much earlier than The Rise of Skywalker, but in 2011 of the Dave Filoni show Star Wars Clone Wars, and the scene was supposed to be featuring the fan favorite Sith character. However, it was ultimately deleted. Now, this is talking about the Clone Wars 3-episode arc of the Mortis Gods. If you haven't seen those episodes, if you haven't watched the Clone Wars, I highly recommend just watching that if you don't feel like watching the whole show. The Mortis arc, those episodes is some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen. It's deep in lore, it's got great mythology, and it really expands the Star Wars universe and opens up 100 million new doors. So continuing, it says Revan would have appeared as a Sith Lord alongside Darth Bane as advisors to the powerful Force wielder known as the Sun. But they were ultimately cut from the episode in late production. And the show's director, Dave Filoni, was apprehensive of using the scene, and the scene was removed at George Lucas's request because it conflicted with Lucas's views on the Force. Filoni later spoke on the episode saying that one of the very interesting things about the final episode of Mortis that I know fans would have found very interesting was that George was looking for two ancient Sith lords that could bring some meaning that would be kind of like an uber evil influence guiding the Sun. And this was Darth Bane and Darth Revan, both of whom exist in the EU. That would have been incredible. That would have been so cool. Now, we do know that Darth Bane does end up showing up towards the end of the Clone Wars, not the last season, but close to the last season. I don't remember when. But if we got to see Darth Revan as well, that would have been really cool, especially both of them together. So look, it's possible. It's really possible that Darth Revan could come back. It's even more possible that Keanu Reeves could be playing him. Now, going back to how I think he can fit, Darth Revan is a very complex character. Half divided by light, half divided by dark, but he has kind of his own he's kind of his own separate entity when it comes to the Force in general and how to use it. His philosophy has established a lot of what the dark side is today, and also how much the Jedi Order was influenced by a bunch of his motives as well. So he's a very powerful character, very rich history, and very significant to the Star Wars world in the Old Republic and in the modern day. Hopefully, going forward, we'll get to see more updates and possibly get to see him as Keanu as Darth Revan in the future, but we'll see. Either way, I think Keanu Reeves should be a member of the Star Wars community at some capacity. I think he's a great actor and he's very popular right now. He's very busy. He's doing a lot of work. And I really think if he had the right director, he could definitely pull off Revan. I know it's hard to understand who Revan is by this short video, but I'm telling you, it could work. A lot of people have requested of me that I do a top 10 facts about Revan, and then I can further explain who he is and how he's so important and why he's such a fan favorite character. So I might have to do that. If you want to see that from me, please leave a comment below. If you like this video, use the Force, like this video, and we have a live stream tomorrow. It would mean a lot if you come and join us there. You can ask me anything you want to, as long as it's appropriate. But until next time, my friends, may the Force be with you.